Alright, so another review of Breaking Bad, this time season 3, and I got the shirt and everything. Los Pollos Hermanos. So the season starts off and Skyler wants a divorce with Walt, and it's just after those two planes just slam into each other. There's like debris, dead bodies falling everywhere, though you don't see it, you hear a lot about it, and that's really creepy to hear about. She's like disgusted with him. She hates his guts pretty much this whole season. She turns around a little at the end of the season and decides, alright, if we're gonna do this, we need to like launder this money so when you're dead we can have something to live by. She kind of gets it, but still at the same time, she hates him. She really does. She might try work with him to get a car wash and such to launder the money, but she hates his guts, and it shows, and that makes Skyler just so unlikable because she's so unloving and uncaring to the main character of the first two seasons, and we're just like, we kind of like Walt, even though he keeps making like questionable choices and doing somewhat evil things, but we still really like him, and when you're mean to him, we don't like you. But I understand where she's coming from, but yeah, not very likable, Skyler. Meanwhile, Jesse's in rehab. He's going to these classes trying to get over what happened to Jane, but yet he's calling her cell phone just to hear the answering machine message. That was actually pretty sad to see. He was sad and depressed, but he was trying to better himself and become a better person, and he actually tries to get back in the drug business again. He cooks a batch of the blue meth, and Walt just gets so pissed. He's like, alright, tell Gus I'm going to keep working for him again. He gets a sweet deal, 3 months, $3 million. And they set him up with Gale, this guy who almost seems like Walt would like love him as a lab partner, because he's a nerd, but he gets the chemistry almost as much as Walt, so they seem to get along. But then Walt quickly is like, you know, I kind of miss Jesse. We didn't quite get along, but that's what he liked about it. They had such great chemistry together that it's just like, man, it's not working with Gale. I miss Jesse. And you get that he cares about him and he likes having him around. But yeah, I want to talk about Gus now, because in season 2, like, you showed him, like, this guy seems like he'll be important, and he is. Yeah, Gus, played by Giancarlo Esposito, if that's how you pronounce it. He is amazing. This is like one of the best villains that you'll ever see on a TV show or in a movie. Gus is just so calculated. He's such a smart businessman. He has to be very careful. You get it. You just feel like he is a genius, and he knows exactly what he's doing, a great businessman, and he has a giant meth super lab. It's underneath the laundromat. You got all these giant machines to cook way more meth than Jesse and Walt could, even in their 4-day vacation. And that's why it's so cool. You just, a super lab of meth, and Walt gets to work there. It's like, oh, that's freaking cool. But Saul Goodman in this season 2 just continues to be hysterical, and he's so fun, just as Walt and Jesse's lawyer, that they consult him. What do we do here? Because we don't get what we're doing, so maybe you might be able to help us. And he's always fun. He shows up so often, and I'm happy. Every time I see him, I'm like, yes, another freaking scene with Saul. And then you got Hank, who, oh my god, this season was really intense for him, because you got in the first season, fun wisecracking guy. Second one, yes, he had an interaction that almost got him killed. He met up with Danny Trejo, Machete. He met up with him in season 2 and almost got blown up and killed, so that gave him some problems. But this one, oh my god. He tracks down the RV, finally being able to link it to Jesse, and tries to hunt it down. Walt and Jesse end up in a spot where they're in a junkyard, and Hank's outside and he's locked up, but he's just waiting to get in there to catch them. So they get a genius plan where, after trying to do some legal talk with the guy that owns the junkyard, and then Walt telling Jesse what to say inside it about probable cause and warrants and stuff, they get a scene where Saul gets a girl to call Hank, pretending that Marie was in a car accident, and Hank just loses it, gets over there, and when he finds out he's tricked, he flips. Walt and Jesse destroy the RV. Meanwhile, he goes back to Jesse's house. When Jesse gets there, he beats his ass, almost beats him into a coma or something, just destroys his face, beats him horribly. Like, even as bad as Jesse got beat up in season 1 by Tuco, this was worse. And Jesse's on a vendetta mode at this point, where he just wants to destroy Hank's life. And I like that. This is where freaking Dean Norris has a lot to work with. Instead of just being the wisecracking guy, you see him when he's like really super psycho mode. And also Aaron Paul in the scene where he's just telling Walt and Saul, he's like, I'm going to destroy this guy's life until he blows his brains out. He's going to be thinking of me. That was awesome. It was like Aaron Paul was like, give me the Emmy or whatever for Best Supporting Actor. And Bryan Cranston, as usual, fantastic. And this is a season where Walt, first two, you get everything. And this one, he's making some choices where it's like, you get it, but some of them feel a little evil. And especially around the end of the season, it's like, yes, he's pretty dark here. And he's turning into a real evil guy, only worried about survival. And you also got those two psycho assassins from the cartel. I believe they are Tuco's cousins, and they're scary, if not a little annoying, because it just, annoyed me that, okay, you got the two badasses that never talk and they're going around killing people. They're scary, but it's just like, I can't wait to see these guys go down. But they were scared. And they're going after Walt or Heisenberg, and they're kind of finding out through the cartel where he is. But Gus is able to save Walt's life. They're in his bedroom while he's taking a shower, and they got an axe, and they're going to mess him up. But Gus saves him and sends them after Hank. And Hank, the scene right before that, suspended for beating up Jesse. He's got no gun or nothing. They're shooting at him, and he's able to kill them both, basically. The one guy is crippled and left in the hospital. But Gus, using his mysterious ways, ends up killing him, poisoning him. And you get that Gus has a lot of reach. He's with the cartel. He owns this whole area. He is not to be messed with. He is very dangerous. And then Walt decides, yeah, Gail, you gotta go. I need Jesse. I need my Jesse back. He's a lot cooler. And Jesse's also going to the rehab meetings. He starts dating this girl, Andrea, who's got a 5-year-old son, Brock. But you find out her younger brother is the kid that shot Combo in season 2. He's the kid on the bike that just, blam, shot him in the back. And Jesse, when he figures that out, he's like, I gotta deal with this. He finds the two dealers that sort of force the kid into it, and he wants them dead. He tries to poison them with ricin. Walt finds out, talks to Gus. They try and work it out, but Jesse ends up confronting them. And he's gonna probably end up getting shot, and like that, bam, Walt runs them both over, walks up to the one still alive, and blows his brains out. And this gets Gus very angry, and he's trying to deal with this. He wants to kill Jesse bad. He wants to get rid of Walt. He's getting Gail back in, trying to get Gail to learn what's going on so he can just get rid of Walt and Jesse and cook Walt's beautiful blue meth, but without Walt or Jesse's hassles of them. But then Walt figures out a way. They're going to kill Walt, and he sends Jesse over to Gail's, and the poor guy is just like, he's sitting there listening to his music and stuff in his goofy, nerdy apartment, and opens the door to Jesse, and Jesse sits there for a second really thinking about it, and blam. We don't see it. It cuts to black, but it'll basically pick up in season 4, so we'll know for sure, but I'm sure if anyone's seen the show, they know what happens. Gus is amazing in this season, Jesse's amazing, Walt's amazing, everybody. RJ, Mitte, I didn't mention him, but again, continue to be such a fun character, and you get like stuff where he's really pissed at his mom. He's like, why are you such a bitch to dad? He loves his dad, and his mom's just being so cold and unloving to him. So we get right there, yeah, we agree with Walt Jr. You're being a dick to Walt, come on. Alright, so yeah, I don't got the tripod, I don't got the background, because I just thought of it now because I'm in editing, and I forgot, and I can't upload the video, the review of the season, without mentioning 2 things. First off, Mike. Okay, Jonathan Banks is Mike. He also was a small part in season 2, I believe. He was like the surveillance guy who broke into Walt's house to plant wires and stuff. But in this season, you get that Mike, like Gus would be nothing without Mike. Mike helps him out so much, and he's a badass hitman. He walks around this last episode of the season with a silencer, just shooting up a whole place of people. He's awesome. With balloons, he takes out the powder place. Mike is so cool, and it's a great performance. And it's like, oh, it's an older, like, assassin-y hitman, spy type guy. That's the best way to describe it, but he's a badass and he's great. And also Betsey Brandt was really good in this season too, because Hank, although he does become a badass, once he's suspended, gets in that shootout, he's kind of crippled, he has to go through physical therapy and turns into a jackass. He's just a terrible husband. So he sucked, but she was good in this season with her trying to get the groundhog to see his shadow. That was hilarious. And so season 4, we're left to see what happens with this whole car wash business, and did Jesse actually shoot him? What happened? We're gonna find out. But man, this show, it's directed amazing. The only episode I didn't really love, like every other episode, was the fly one, and I'm pretty sure that's a common complaint. I like a lot of scenes in the episode, particularly where Walt talks about when, before Jane died, right before he went out to get the diapers, where he's listening to Skylar and Holly on the monitor, and he's sitting there. He wished he could have died right there. It would have been perfect. And I like that. I like the whole, that was the plan. He wanted to die, and he wants to be dead. I like that. But most of the episode was him swatting at a fly, and I was just like, ugh. But, however, it's just so great. Directed, I believe that episode was directed by Rian Johnson. The first director I recognized besides Vince Gilligan, who wrote and directed an episode or 2, I'm not sure. Also created the show, duh. But yeah, so the first 2 seasons in the review I didn't mention, but every episode's directed great. All the directors are bringing great job. They do. The writing just keeps getting better, holding you on the edge of your seat. And this is the first cliffhanger where it's really like, holy crap, what happens next? Because season 1, you get they're going down a road where things could get bad. Season 2, okay, things are interesting with the planes crash, but this one where Jesse blows Gail's brains out, presumably, holy crap, A+. This show is amazing. And I think this season and season 4 would probably be my favorites, I would say, until I've seen the very end of season 5 because it's split up into 2 parts. I can decide for sure, but yeah, A+. I love this show. I talked about it, so if you like this review, like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you thought of Season 3, and I'll see you guys soon when I review Season 4.